The world of sport is a spectacle with valor on display and glory on the line. Well, not for most people. For the common man, it's all about enjoying the ride and winding up disappointed for getting your hopes up. On the World Wide Web, you can find a plethora of perspectives across the realm of sports content. But say you're completely lost and don't know where to start, you might just need the right guide. A hater's guide, if you will.
Hey guys, my name is Steve. I go by Urinating Tree on YouTube. I ramble on the internet. I make YouTube videos, and it's been a wild ride. Let's just put it that way.
Our story starts in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the humble beginnings of one Steve Linkowski. Growing up in Pittsburgh meant that he was fated to grow up a fan of Pittsburgh Sports, which doesn't sound so bad on paper. The Steelers won 2 Super Bowls in the 2000s, and the Penguins also won a Stanley Cup in that span after all. But you then look over at the Pirates, who recorded 20 straight losing seasons from 1993 to 2012. Those failures left a mark on young Steve.
I have a weird obsession with really bad sports teams for that reason, because like I saw a really bad team and they were terrible. I would have to deal with like, oh, we're gonna play 500 ball, we're gonna be competitive. No, you're a 100-loss team, you suck.
Meanwhile, there was a game that came out in 2005 called The Movies on PC and Mac. It was a simulation game where you could run your own movie studio and make movies that could be exported and put online. It was a product of the times, but Steve enjoyed it all the same. Now in 2006, YouTube was just starting to gain steam as a platform, and Steve wanted to get some experience making videos before going off to study broadcasting. He stumbled upon the Angry Video Game Nerd, who had a massive following for the time. Steve looked at AVGN and blatantly copied it under the name Urinating Tree.
Good morning, all you one-star reviewers. This is the Urinating Tree with his first ever video game review. First thing that bothers me about this game is, what the hell are they staring at? It's like they're staring at their parents having sex.
It doesn't age well. You have to understand at the time, the Angry Video Game Nerd in 2006, that was hotcakes. Like, that was the big thing. And everyone was doing it. I mean, more or less it was just for fun or just something to creative release, but at the same time, you know, it's the first time you think like, wow, people actually like this shit. That's crazy.
Tree had a small following, but even having a couple hundred or a couple thousand subscribers back in those days was really a surreal thing. Eventually though, Tree got bored of the game reviews, so he just stopped after a while. After all, he was sowing seeds for a much bigger goal. After having some fun anchoring morning announcements in high school, Tree studied at Point Park University with a dream to be an anchor on ESPN. But looking at how ESPN had changed from when he was younger to where it was in the late 2000s, it prompted a change of heart that led him to forego that dream. After graduating, Tree worked for some radio stations in the Pittsburgh area as a board operator and production director. In the midst of radio's fading prominence as an industry, he wanted to try and move up in some way, but the opportunity never came. Fast forward to 2016, Tree stumbled through some dead-end jobs in the radio industry, and he was currently working as a server. By the time the 2016 presidential election had wrapped up, Tree had some thoughts that he wanted to get off his chest. So he grabbed an old Radio Shack mic, booted up Windows Movie Maker, and made The Mainstream Media Needs to Die, where he ranted about the bias many media outlets exhibited during that election cycle.
Hillary and the DNC colluded against Bernie Sanders in the primaries? Pfft, whatever, we're more interested in reposting the fact that Trump left the toilet seat up 20 years ago.
The day after, I felt good. It just felt good to get that creative release back again.
That same November, the Cleveland Browns were on pace for an 0-16 season, and Tree thought that making a video about the Browns would be an interesting topic, especially taking into account a video he saw called Only in Cleveland, which recaps the various failures of the Browns from their return as an expansion team in 1999 to when the team was bought by Jimmy Haslam in 2012.
And so I'm thinking at the time, nothing's really merged that video and the modern time, so I wanted to try and bridge that.
2 radioactive cancers for the price of 1? Sold! They have major maturity issues and may not actually care about football? Who cares? We've got Johnny fucking football.
As you can see, like, there's a lot of like rough like spots with that first video, but that's where the sports stuff came into play. I just wanted to do something that would challenge me, and that's what the Cleveland Browns video was. It was just like a random smattering, get it out there. I only expected maybe a couple hundred views on that. I did not expect 2 million as it is now. Like, if you were to tell me at that time, like, I would get that many, I'd shit my pants. dead serious about that.
He put out some other videos in the meantime, a couple of gaming videos, and some more sports videos where he looked at some more bad teams through his lolcow series.
My thinking was I was hoping to find a better term because I didn't think lolcow really worked. But it's like, just use lolcow.
The videos were getting about a couple hundred views at the time, but all that mattered to Tree is that he had got that creative release back in his life. A few weeks later, the NFL playoffs were on the horizon, and Tree saw an opportunity to challenge himself. So he made the Haters Guide to the 2017 NFL playoffs, covering all 12 teams going into the playoffs.
Honestly, this is my pick to go to the Super Bowl. They have nice balance, a potent offense, and oh, wait, Derek Carr's out for the year? Yep, you're fucked.
He didn't think that video was going to do much better than any of the other videos he had uploaded previously, only to find that he gained 100 subscribers overnight, and the video quickly hit around 15 to 20,000 views.
For my channel, that didn't even click like 1,000 for the videos I'd released. I'm just sitting there like, what? Okay. Sure.
Tree continued making his videos like nothing happened, but when the Super Bowl came around, he ended up making a follow-up Haters Guide that recapped the playoffs and previewed the Super Bowl. That video ended up doing even better, quickly hitting around 50,000 views. He eclipsed around 1,500 subscribers shortly after, and from there, he started to really invest himself in his channel. He began making more videos covering teams across all the Big Four sports leagues, both in the form of Haters Guides and various videos taking a shit on both bad teams and recent events in the sports world. That same September, Tree took it a step further with This Week in Sportsball, a weekly recap of the NFL season. Tree not only kept up with Sportsball every year since, but has stuck with this foundation for his content for the past 7 years.
My comparison is if you've ever seen Saving Private Ryan, where the soldier leans on the wall collapses, and there's just an entire brigade of Nazis sitting there. I wish I had a better story about like, oh, here was this massive adventure I went on, here's this stuff. It's just, nah. Just stumbled into it.
While the bulk of Tree's content has remained the same, various projects have come and gone, with probably his most popular series being Days of Our Steelers, where Tree focused on the drama of the Pittsburgh Steelers primarily during the 2018 season. In case you don't know or you just forgot, that team was known for drama on a week-to-week basis, and starting the season 7-2-1 only to suffer a meltdown and miss the playoffs entirely. As a Yinzer himself, Tree logged the pain he was actively suffering.
Did you learn anything from Jacksonville? How much of a cheerleader are you? At this point, you're Baghdad Bob pretending everything is fine as there's drama coming out of this organization every fucking week.
The compilation of the entire 2018 season of Days of Our Steelers has over 2.3 million views. Throughout all the time he spent making videos, Tree has let life experience guide the changes he's made. Those changes haven't led to any major overhauls to what he does, but just subtle tweaks and trial and error to keep from growing stale. In sports, the same plot lines are bound to repeat over and over again in some way, so he has to find a way to stay fresh. But you can even hear the way he's changed just in how he talks.
You did what? You drafted a fucking running back, Seattle? This is like putting a band-aid on a gangrenous wound.
Don't get me wrong, I like Penix as a player, but to the Falcons? Did they conveniently forget that Kirk Cousins just inked a contract worth 9 figures guaranteed?
Over the years of doing Sportsball, it became more of Tree's homage to NFL primetime and how it was being presented. In his one-off videos, research and getting details right has been more important than ever, especially when looking back at some of his older projects.
And the Falcons' legacy of failure. I missed Eugene Robinson getting arrested for trying to solicit a prostitute. And I was kicking myself over that. Like, how the hell did I miss that?
What were once 5 to 10 minute bits began to start nearing the half-hour range. The trade-off is an opportunity to dig into sports history.
I'm gonna be honest, I love history. I love delving into history. I love really digging deep and getting those nuggets that that even I didn't know. That more or less does. Like the Pierre Kramer video I did. Like I knew about Go Make Bicycle. I knew about him not knowing like he needed a win, but like some of the other stuff I had gotten into, like the private meeting with the DeBartolos or the line changes. There were issues with communication, stuff like that. Last week, I was digging into a lot of old articles from the Pittsburgh Free Press and the Post-Gazette, more or less, because most of that stuff isn't online. They don't have the archive, so I would have to get a newspaper and just go from there.
That love for sports history is evident through his Legacy of Failure series, which chronicles the various agony teams have experienced over the years. But he also puts out history-driven videos like his video on Marge Schott, the former owner of the Cincinnati Reds, the history of the Atlanta Thrashers, and the aforementioned video he recently did on former Penguins coach Pierre Kramer. Even though those larger videos are an undertaking, he's still always posting stuff about the current sports landscape. He streams both on his own and with fellow creators like in Clickbait Sports, where he and 4 other sports content creators shoot the breeze. He still makes Sportsball and Haters Guides out of obligation, but not solely for the views or money. He believes that as long as he's putting out a good product, people will watch.
I feel more or less like I want to do stuff that I want to do. Like, I enjoy what I do. I mean, sometimes it gets into a grind, especially if you're in like week 12 of Sportsball and it's like, oh God.
The ebbs and flows of the sports calendar ensure that bullshit will ensue no matter what, and Tree is just here in the middle of it all. The neat thing about Tree's way of doing things is that it allows him to maintain his voice while subtly finding ways to experiment and enjoy making his content. Tree's amassed over 603,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's up there with some of the most popular sports content creators on the platform. The stability of who he is as a creator is a testament to the seeds that he planted from when he was just having fun making low-quality shitposts and finding his way through the world. Those seeds have since grown to bear fruit as he continues to make, I guess, slightly higher quality shitposts.
I mean, to even talk about the situation, it's humbling. It's hard to think about because you get caught in the day-to-day grind. At the same time, it's just like you have to, it's hard to take a step back and think, whoa, what am I doing here? Okay. Like, I've been to suites in Dallas and New Orleans. I've traveled to play baseball in North Carolina and Oregon. I've been to countless cities, states, towns that I just am able to develop and grow and just linger around and hopefully not be a burden on people. But I mean, it's been a ride. As I said, it's been a ride. College radio really came into play. You know, college radio, it gets pretty bad after a while.
Dude, I literally work for a college radio station.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor
No.
thing. I remember when I was like trying to find tape, and I'm looking up my old college radio, like the stuff I had recorded. I'm sitting there like, this is fucking terrible. I'm like, what am I doing? It's so bad. I can't make this into a tape. It's bad.